Hello, 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 beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Analogue, a hate story. When last we left off, we asked Hyun I Mute's questions. We learned a little bit about another bride, I guess, with an unfortunate life, and, well, Hyun I gave us something that she wanted us to read. It wasn't exactly her journal. We read that already. But it's something else, something that'll tell us what happened to her. Anyway. But without further stalling, let's get back into it, shall we? The Nightmarish Bride with, I can't remember how it's pronounced. Hyo Min Jung. Sure, let's go with that. Let's, pronunciations. You, as in cut. Okay. So, right? Yeah, Hyo, yeah, okay. Hyo Min Jung, or something like that. Written 2/7 of the year 322. It seems that in the year I spent visiting my parents, everything has gone to hell in my husband's family without him knowing. Clearly, I never should have left. He has an idea, but he doesn't understand just how bad things have gotten. When I left, it all seemed to be under control. The pale bride would be of the right age to be married to the emperor soon enough, and would be able to use that connection to bring favor to the family. A good plan. Except, turns out, the pale bride is not even close to ready for marriage. Age has nothing to do with it. It's the maturity that she lacks. When she first awoke, right before I left, she seemed a little confused, but that's hardly unexpected. She had a whole new family to get accustomed to, and it seems obvious enough that anyone born so far in the past would have difficulty adjusting to modern life. But this is far beyond that. There is something simply wrong with that child. When I got back, the first thing Young-suk's wife did was tell me all about how sorry she was for not being able to control the child. I rolled my eyes, as if a grown woman couldn't handle someone of her age. "How are you going to raise my grandson like that?" I asked. She was quiet and let me see the pale bride for myself. The first thing I saw was Young-suk. Young-suk tried to... Young-suk tried to get her to do something as simple as sort out his laundry. She wasn't just disobedient, she was openly defiant. When I stepped in to admonish her, it had absolutely no effect. All she did was argue back at me. I tried every approach I could think of, appealing to filiality, explaining how important to virtue obedience was, even trying to appeal to sentimentality. Everything. She just kept saying the same thing, that it wasn't fair to make her do it. Here's the obvious concern, and it's what I said to her. Are you going to tell your husband he's not being fair when he wants something from you? I thought that would put some sense into her. But no, she just answered, yes, there's no way this unruly child could possibly be marriageable, not like this. She'd be sent back within a day, and with good reason. What man could possibly want a nightmare like her in his life? Hyun I, thoughts? As my knee pops away. Mother, huh? I don't really know what to say about her, even now. This is the first time I've read what she wrote, and it's just, well, there's more. Here, read them for yourself. Let's just go down in order, shall we? Mother, by the Pale Bride, written 2/21 of the year 320. Dear Diary, the good news is, health-wise, I seem to be doing much better this month. I'm sure this isn't a permanent thing. It's happened before. I can't really remember how the doctor from the past explained it anymore, but he said it was pretty normal and not something to get my hopes up about. Still, some days this month I actually had enough energy to want to move around. Not that I could move around, of course. I can't leave the house. The good girl shouldn't, is what everyone keeps saying, but I have the energy to, at least, and that's something. The big news is that the woman who's supposed to be my adopted mother came back. I didn't really see much of her before she left. I might as well have been meeting a new person. I wish I could say I had high hopes for her, and I thought maybe she'd be fine. That'd be a lie, though. I knew she'd be as bad as the rest the moment I saw her, and she was. Of course she was. She's even worse than sister-in-law. She gives these awful lectures. I can't even describe them. They're horrible. I've described them, they're that horrible. She's that horrible. Mother, huh? Same thing before? Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a similar topic. Independent Woman by Hu Minjiang. Written 4/3 of the year 320. I guess that would be Hu Minjiang. Yeah, whatever. I suck at Korean pronunciations. I've not practiced them. I apologize again. I suck. If you're so worried, why don't you just explain everything to her, simply and rationally? Zheng Xu asked me. My response was obvious. She's a woman. We're not particularly rational. He said, "You know what I mean. I could hardly do it I could hardly do it, but coming from a woman, perhaps will understand that it's all for her own good." "Maybe," I said, doubting it. But I tried anyway. She took her time arriving after I summoned her to my room. "Can we speak?" I asked her, trying to keep my voice calm. She glared and snapped, "Fine." I asked her to sit down, but she refused. "Look," I said, trying to speak as her equal. I still didn't think my husband was right, but it was worth trying. "I've been told you'd rather be called Hyunai. Is that right?" She said, "Yes," bitterly, not giving me much to go off. "It's a very pretty name," I said. "Thanks," she said, but her voice was still unfriendly. "My parents gave it to me," I said. "You must miss them very much." She nodded. "I don't understand, Hyunai. Were you so difficult with them too?" "No," she said. "They were nice. They actually cared about me. They're nothing like you people." I sighed. "I care about you, Hyunai. You're part of the family. You're Kim. Your parents are our ancestors, and I know they think it's very important that we raise you right. If you want to be a bad, unfilial daughter and treat us without any respect, well, you wouldn't be the first. Do you really think an old woman like me really cares much about your opinion of me?" I thought maybe I'd try appealing to her selfishness. Her marriage is important to the family, but clearly she doesn't care about filiality. "It's you I'm worried about. Do you think any husband is really going to put up with the way you are, even for a second?" She kept glaring at me. "That's all you keep talking about. Marriage, marriage, marriage. I'm 14. I'm 14 years old. What's wrong with you? Why does everything have to be about some man? Why do I have to marry someone that you picked?" She screamed at me. I remained calm. "You're going to be a royal concubine, Hyunai. We're not jumping you off with just anyone. There's no better man. I don't know if you're already engaged in the past, but your parents would do the same if they could. It's what's best for you. They would want this." "No, they wouldn't," she shrieked. "They would want me to grow up. They wanted me to be an independent woman. That's what Mom and Dad thought was important. I don't want to be a concubine. I don't care about marriage." "An independent woman? They wanted you to be a whore?" I asked, my patience run as thin as anyone's would be. I didn't believe for a second my husband's ancestors were the monsters she was making them out to be, and was sick of this. "Get out," I snapped at her. "Just get out." Sigh. Are you just showing this because you want to see more from her? Not exactly. I want to know what your thoughts are on that. Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't know what to say. She was cruel. So cruel. Now I've read her perspective. It doesn't change anything. Fine, she actually believed what she was saying. That doesn't make it all of it right. I hate her. I don't care if she's long dead. I don't care if I was the one who did it. I still hate her. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Well, this is a hate story after all. Jeez, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to work myself up like that. Just, you don't pity her, do you? Not really, no. Good. Me neither. That's what I had to live with, reading what she wrote. She honestly believed that. Just reminds me of how I ended up thinking, how I completely gave up and believed her attitude. She tried to wear me down. She succeeded. She doesn't deserve pity, and I didn't deserve what she did to me. I could never forgive her. Ever. I'm really glad you understand. Sorry, I've calmed down now. It's just hard to think about, even now. I really do hate her. Well, again, this is a hate story. Cold drinks are pleasant when it's warm. Please? Back. Okay. The New Anxiety by Young Six's Wife. Written 4/22 of the year 320. Dearest Mother, my mother-in-law has relieved me of any responsibility for looking after the pale bride. As a matter of pride, I feel as that a simple child is too much for me to handle, but I'm certainly glad she's not my problem anymore. Now I can put my undivided attention back where it belongs, onto my husband and his ambitions. Tell me though, Mother, because I know we didn't always get along well. I was never that bad, was I? Sure, we were both happy when I moved out. Well, perhaps I wasn't happy right away. I was more scared, but I'm sure you were relieved to have some space. But you would never give up on me. You would have never given up on me, right? I was never that bad, was I? Deep down, I worry. My husband seems content to take his time to have children, and which is a decision I can certainly live with. But what about when we do? What if we have a daughter? Will I fail her too? I've been telling myself that it's not me, it's her. She's a particularly unruly child, and it's not ordinarily that bad. It's not, right? Please tell me I have nothing to worry about. Please? You know, I never did like her. When I woke up, she was just this awful person who kept saying the most awful things. Never as bad as Mother, but still. I didn't read any of her letters when I was alive, of course, but you know what really surprised me? She made such an awful impression on my life. I hated her the most for so long. And she barely even mentioned me. All my suffering, it was just a minor distraction to her, nothing more, insignificant compared to her man. I sigh. There's one more from her, then you should read it, or that you should read. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about her. There's just one thing I keep thinking, though. Just one thing. I have no idea what her name was. Intriguing. So, Young Six's Wife is... No. Is that... Okay. Well, there's still these two here. I would like to know what those say. Anyway. Drastic Measures by Hu Minjong. Written 5/13 of the year 322. The pale bride picked the worst of all days to throw another one of her childish fits, refusing even to get dressed for her interview. And this one was with the Emperor himself. Not even my husband was able to get her to listen. He had to personally apologize himself for not being able to bring her as scheduled, and lied about a sudden illness. You have to do something about her, I said to my husband that evening. She's completely out of control. I know, he said. That is quite clear. He looked so worried. I hugged him, and I tried to comfort him. Everything would fall apart if something couldn't be done. She threatened to say something stupid and dangerous to the Emperor, and we were both scared that she might. Maybe it's time to consider doing something drastic, I said to him. He nodded. I know, he said. I can only think of one idea. I do not like it. I would rather not. Even hitting her was far worse than I would have wanted. He explained his idea to me, and I agreed that it was terrible, and I didn't like it either. But it would stop her from arguing, stop her from ruining her own life. My husband is always, right. There was only one way. There was one big fight I had with her, the one that changed everything, the one I finally lost. My diary makes it sound really dramatic, I know. I was young at the time, but it really was. Just read it. It's exactly how it went. Oh? Interesting. But I guess that's, yeah. My Last Stand by the Pale Bride, written 5/13 of the year 322. Actually, this is a bit of a long one. I'm going to take a drink first. Dear Diary, everything managed to spiral out of control so quickly today. I wasn't planning on it happening this way, but here's the point where I make my stand, I guess. It sounds dramatic, but I won't let them marry me off to some stranger. I won't let them. Just before dinner yesterday, Mother told me that I had to do an interview with some man. The Emperor, I guess, for all I care. The way she put it was, I'd get a chance to see that he's a man you could fall in love with, or something stupid like that. As if, I said in response, and I spent the rest of the evening thinking about what I could possibly do to make it clear I wouldn't let them do this. This morning, after breakfast, sister-in-law showed up in my room. Good morning, she said. Today's a big day for you, isn't it? Mother-in-law wanted me to help you get dressed and all made up. You'll want to make a good first impression after all. I glared at her and summoned up all of my courage. No, I said. What? She asked. No, I'm not going. She left, and Mother herself came in. This was it, I told myself. This was the big moment. I'm not going, I said before she could say anything. I'm not going to get dressed up, I'm not going to meet him, and I'm definitely not going to get married, I shouted. For a moment, she said nothing and didn't move, and she left too, without saying a word. I thought that would feel good, but it didn't. It just made me worry more. I couldn't have possibly won that easily, I thought. And I hadn't, of course. After a few moments, she returned with Father, who looked incredibly angry. Min Jung says you were refusing to get ready for your interview, he said. Yeah, I stammered, not used to talking to him. I won't go and I won't get married. He walked over in just 2 strides, then glared at me for a second. I have no idea what he was going to do. Then he slapped me in the face so hard that it knocked me over. Yes, you will, he said. I'll drag you there kicking and screaming if I have to. My face was in so much pain, I forced myself to sit back up. I won't, I said, bracing myself for if he hit me again. He did. Yes, you will, he said. I couldn't keep this up. It already hurt so much. I couldn't just brave that out. Then it came to me. If you make me do the interview, I said, I'll tell the Emperor that you've been conspiring behind his back. It was all I could think of, and all I could do was cross my fingers and hope that threat worked. It had to. He glared at me, and in that moment, I knew it worked. The two of them looked at each other, and then they both left together. That was 3 hours ago. I don't know what's going to happen now, and I think my face is swollen. It still hurts, and I didn't want it to go that way. So that's me, making my stand. I'll get to that, but for now, please just look at everything else first. Peace at Last by Hu Min Jung, written 2/14 of the year 321. Recently, the pale bride's temperament has improved immensely. It isn't simply that she's quiet now, it's that she's actually respectful and calmer. After rescheduling, she had an interview with the Emperor, and he was actually quite charmed with her. I'm just so happy, for her own sake, that she's finally stopped resisting the marriage. It's all coming together now. A date's been set for when she'll be sent to live with him, and in the meanwhile, things at home have been peaceful again for everyone. Actually, it's better than just that. I've been spending more time with her, of her own free will. I've been giving her advice for coping with marriage, and now the girl actually listens politely. Otherwise, there was little else to write about. I wish there had been a better way to get her to behave, but in the end, it seems to be working out. I still can't imagine how awful it would be if she'd refused to ever leave the home and simply made life hell for us. Or worse, if she'd got sent off and tried to pull any of that on her husband. She'd get sent back for sure. Maybe now things will finally start to come together for the family. I must admit, for a time, I doubted the optimism that Jiangsu had expressed in the 319th year, but now, it seems, that he was right all along. What a relief. No mention of what they actually did. of her own free will. I can't believe she actually said that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. I can't believe she could have possibly thought that I... Just unbelievable. Well, I mean, I know what happened. I've read this before. But still, it's not saying what happened, which means it's something extreme. And I made a few inferences on my own, or conclusions on my own. I don't remember what all they were, but I ended up having one of them at least somewhat right. So, anyway, The New Promise by Young Suk's wife, written was at 37 of the year 321. Dearest Mother, the pale bride finally left home today to live with her new husband. As she isn't the primary wife, there is no fanfare or ceremony for her departure itself, so instead, last night we had a special big feast to commemorate. I know I've said some bad things about her before, but it's not just that I was happy to see her gone. She's been better since mother and father-in-law managed to get her to keep quiet. The thought of it still leaves me really uncomfortable. She was always just a confused child. I hate the fact that the family considers her so important and neglects my husband. And I certainly hate her for not appreciating that status and fighting it. But the fact that she doesn't understand the world, I can feel for that. It's not like I always understand myself. Regardless, it went very well. The big feast was my idea, and she was happy to help with the cooking. Earlier, she had spent the afternoon getting ready the dress she was going to wear when she arrived with mother-in-law, and she seemed really rather anxious about it. While we cooked, I opened the wine early and poured it for her. I think she needed it. I told her the same story I told you a while ago, about how scared I was when I first moved in. It seemed as though it was a lifetime ago, and yet, despite all the strangeness, I had grown so accustomed to it. You'll eventually grow to love him, I promised her, just as you promised me all those years ago. Appreciate how good you have him. Well, I think this is the moment where Hyunai is going to unlock the thing for us. You've read almost everything now? I know you've had faith in me, and I promise it hasn't been misplaced. There's just one more thing. I don't think you'll be surprised. You seem smart, I'm sure you've already guessed what it is. Still, go ahead. Ask it. Ask me the obvious question. Okay. Well, it's not going to unlock... Okay. Well, this is not darkened out, so let's just speak with Hyunai. Go ahead. Ask it. Ask me the obvious question. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, okay. Well, first, let's take a drink, shall we? Okay. Question 9. Why did you kill all those people? Why did I kill them? Here, you want to know what could make me look at my father's face and be filled with so much hatred? You want to know how I could possibly think my whole family deserved to die? If you haven't already guessed, here's my last diary entry. I can't say it myself. I can't bring myself to, even now. Please, just read it. Okay. Hyunai's final diary entry. Interesting. Just let that moment sit for a moment. Forever Silenced by the Pale Bride. Written 5/13 of the year 322. Okay. Dear Diary, the evening where everything went wrong, where I thought I was going to win with my adopted parents. Well, I didn't. I lost. Making my stand, I wrote, just hours before it happened. Yeah, right. I hate having allergies. Anyway, when I got called into the kitchen, they were both there. On one of the stove burners, there was a knife. I thought it was a little odd, but I didn't care. Father stared at me and said, "The fighting needs to end now." He was so sure of himself. Of course he was. He had every reason to be, but I stubbornly stood my ground. I said no. "I do not want to hurt you," he lied. "Just promise to be less argumentative, and this can end peacefully." But I just had to fight back. I just had to say no. I just had to remind him I wasn't joking. "I really will tell the Emperor that you hurt me, and that you plotted against him." "No," he said. "You won't." He motioned at Mother and said, "Bring her over." She grabbed me. I tried to dig my feet in, but it didn't work. Then Father pinned me against the wall with his whole body, and I kicked and screamed, desperately trying to get free. But it was no use. He was big, and I was small and sick and weak and frail. Then he grabbed the knife from the stove, and I shrieked in horror. "No," I screamed at him. "Don't." But then Mother grabbed my mouth and held it open. I tried to keep screaming, but I was powerless and terrified. When I raised the knife towards me, I thought he was going to kill me. It was worse. The next thing I knew, I could taste disgusting flesh as he stuck his fingers in my mouth and pulled. "I'm sorry," Mother said. Then briefly I could taste the steel. Then nothing but blood. All I could taste was so much blood. Nothing but blood. Finally, they let go of me and collapsed onto the floor. "Why?" I wanted to say, but couldn't. I blacked out from the pain after that. Just before I did, I swear I heard Father say, "You will not ever argue with any man again." He was right, of course. That's why I gave up. That's why I wanted to kill them so much. Sorry, it's really hard to talk about. It's just, I'll try. I'm sorry. I told you it makes sense, right? That there was a good reason. Please, tell me you don't think I've let you down. No, not really. I haven't? You mean you understand then? More or less, yes, I think I understand. Oh, thank you so much. That really means so much to me. I'm so glad. I don't know what I'd do if you didn't think. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I was terrified, so terrified I thought you might not. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we've read all the log documents that we have unlocked, and I think we've shown... Okay, can we just talk a little bit more instead? There's something really important to tell you. Okay, I was just going to show off that there were no more log documents, but sure, we'll speak to you. But first, a drink. We must steel our nerves and fight away the heat, or something like that. So let's speak with Hyunai. Right, I have really strong feelings also. It's not like I've been pouring my heart out to you or any... I really think you're a good person, and I consider you to be a really good listener and a great... Jeez, I'm in love with you. I finally said it. This is so embarrassing. I know, I'm being really silly, right? I mean, jeez, I'm sure I know what you're thinking, right? You think it's ridiculous. I don't remember if this is the one you need to save at, so I'm going to save just in case. No, not at all. You don't? Oh, that's why I'm in love. Because you manage to happily surprise me every time. I never thought that I would find someone who understands me, someone who listens, who would hear my whole life story and doesn't hate me. You really have been wonderful. I know, it's a lot to spring on someone just like that. And I don't even know if you're even a man or the sort of woman who wouldn't have a problem with that and still unmarried. But if you are, do you think we might have a chance together? Even just a chance? I think this is the one to save at, but I'm paranoid. So, well, and the reason I'm doing that is, spoilers, there's 2 separate endings that you can get from here, based on a sequence of choices. I want the, slightly, well, you'll see. I'm going to get both of the endings, of course. I'm going to get all 5 of the endings. We've already had one, but we're going to go for the friendship ending first. No, I don't think we do. Well, it was a long shot, I know. I'm not mad at you or anything. I had to say it. If you can understand everything I've told you, I'm sure you can understand that. I've been holding that in for a while. It's just... geez. Anyway, it's fine. Forget about it. Anyway, there was something else I still wanted to ask you. It doesn't have to be as your wife or anything. I understand you don't want that. It doesn't have to be as your wife or anything. I'd rather be that way. I understand you don't want that. But will you please take me with you? Just as, what's the word? I can't think of it. What's the word except for a good friend? Except female, I'm drawing a blank here. A friend? Oh, well, whatever. Well, whatever it is. I just mean like that. Can you take me along with you as a passenger? Please? Yeah, sure. It's lonely in our cockpit sometimes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope I don't sound ungrateful. Even if you don't feel the same way about me. It's still the best thing anyone's ever done for me. So, very well, I'll decompile myself now. That way you can drop down to the terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon, alright? And really, thank you. Yes. This probably would have been a slightly better chance to, yeah, sure. This probably would have been a better chance to do the thing, because I think if you refuse that, you can still theoretically, do the brave fucking whatever you're called, it's something. Observer? Yay, there we go. Let's see. And the investigator, that's what we were. Yes, that is the friend zone Hyunai ending, basically. Oops. Popped my pop filter. Or hit my pop filter, anyway. We get a nice little picture here. Yes, we do. Shadowchi. Incoming message. I didn't read the last paragraph of this whenever we got the thing, so I'll try to read this quickly. Good work on recovering the Mongonghwa's files. I just spoke to the sponsor's representative on audio. He sounded really pleased with what you delivered. I've credited your account with a standard payment. Listen, I've got another job lined up for you. It's on Earth, but it sounds to me like after that last job, you could use a change of pace. There's a man whose wife has... Yep, and that's the end of that. And that's the same on every one, I'm pretty sure, because that leads into Hate Plus, which I haven't actually read. Possibly to your disappointment. I just haven't read it. I don't really have a reason. I just haven't read it. Ending 1. Completion rate 90%. Total completion rate 90. Thanks for playing. Oh, I just got a Steam achievement. When did I get a Steam achievement? Especially since I'm pretty sure I already had all of the achievements except for the get 100% completion or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to load you. But if by chance, do you think we might have a chance together? Even just a chance? Well, Hyunai. Yes, I do. This is truly the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been sort of thinking about this for a while. A little bit embarrassing, I know, but, well, we don't have to rush to get married or anything. I mean, you know how scary it was the last time I was a wife. I'd just really like to, just be with you. As an equal. Does that sound alright to you? Yeah, that sounds fine. Wonderful. Oh, I really do love you. It's funny, isn't it? I know almost nothing about you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea how you talk. Just watch my YouTube videos. You can do that from a computer, right? That makes sense. I have no idea what's supposed to be the most important thing about a person, if you're a man or a woman. I have no idea how old you are, although I suppose you must be much younger. or maybe older depending on how you look at it. Nor do I have any idea where you're from, or even your name. But I know that you'll take me seriously, that you understand me, that you don't treat me as something less just for being a woman. I know that talking to you makes me feel better than I've ever felt in my life, and that's good enough for me. That's far better than I've ever had. So, very well, I'll decompile myself now. That way you can just drop to the terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon, alright? So this is how my sister-in-law felt on her wedding night. Well then, and now, of course, we just download everything again. Yes, we're going to download Hyunai with it. Transmitting, yes. So, well, I guess I shouldn't say now. I'll wait until we see the little image that we get. There we go. There is the, what is this ending called? The former bride falls in love for the first time. Oh, the last ending was called Hyunai leaves home in the care of a new friend. But yes, the former bride falls in love for the first time. How lovely. How lovely indeed. I like that ending. It is probably my favorite ending, although another ending, essentially the bonus ending, I find funnier, but it's not a better narratively speaking ending. But yeah, there are 2 endings remaining, because we've now seen 3 of them, although one of them is barely a fucking ending, other than the fact that you get, credits. Yes, ending 2, total completion, blah, blah, blah. I stopped popping up with the Steam progress bullshit, I don't care. Anyway, next time, we're going to go back to Mute, and we're going to talk to her, and we're going to be on our way to get her ending. And as a little bit of a spoilers, I don't believe Mute's ending is as long to get as Hyunai's. I believe there's only going to be 1 episode left, maybe 2. So what I'm actually probably going to do is, because this should be, as long as I wasn't dumb as hell in my recording schedule and forget something, this should be the last episode for Friday. What I'm probably going to do is upload this one either as a double feature on Friday, or maybe as a bonus episode on Saturday, or something like that. I'm not sure. But I really want to start the next series because I'm really looking forward to it, and I don't just want to record or have 1 or 2 episodes of this up the following week. So I'm probably going to try to finish this off next time. But if I don't, it's very likely I'll be uploading both of these episodes like Saturday, Sunday if I record 2. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to see how things go whenever, whenever I record. But, that's for next time. And I hope to see you all there.